first time I ever went out of the country was right after 8th grade. I went on a mission trip to Canada with my youth group. I only drove about 2 or 3 hours into Canada, but it still counts. I have been in the process for about at least a month now of applying to a semester program in Britain. And this week I got an email that I was waitlisted, and I was very upset. I'm not gonna lie, I did shed a few tears because this is something that I've really wanted, and it's going to be delayed, I guess, at least for another year. This is not the only chance I've gotten. I have another chance. Which brings me to probably the biggest life update I've ever had in my life. I applied to a semester in Britain program through my school. I got an email Thursday evening saying that I'm in. I get to go study in the UK for 4 months. I'm actually leaving in about 2.5 weeks, and I'm a little bit scared, but I'm also really, really excited. I still can't believe I'm going. That's gonna be amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited! For starters, I crossed an entire ocean and I'm now living in England. I've been here for about a week. I really do like it. So I was going to take you around on a little mini tour of York today, but it's raining outside. I swear, it was sunny about 10 minutes ago when I was walking over here. Fun fact, in York, there are these city walls, which I am walking on right now near city center. And these were first built about 2,000 or so years ago. These were originally Roman walls. Going from America to a city this old is quite a big leap. Sometimes you just get a little bit homesick, or you miss your parents or whatnot. We toured Magdalen College, where C.S. Lewis taught, and we got to go to the Eagle and Child pub, which is where he and Tolkien and Inklings all had their writing group sessions, which was really cool. I got to basically write a couple things in the pub where C.S. Lewis and Tolkien wrote some of their stories, which is really freaking cool. I did walk around London a little bit. We went to Buckingham Palace, Trafalgar Square, Hyde Park. We did make it to Piccadilly Circus. And so I'm going to try a British accent here, and I'm not sure how well it's going to go over. Cardiff was great, Castle was great, Welcome Marathon was great. Today was a great day in Cambridge. We got breakfast across from King's College, as you do. I was in Belfast. I was in Northern Ireland. I was on a completely different island, and my phone charger had just died. I have anxiety in general. Flying, it takes everything in me not to have an anxiety attack. I'm not even sorry. I've never had such bad luck on trains in the UK before. Why is this all happening now? My name is Helen. I run 2 YouTube channels. I'm studying in England. I'm 20, I'm a female, and I'm bisexual. Hey guys! Contrary to popular belief, I actually have real life friends. We've kind of mentioned each other in each other's videos, but now we're finally collabing, which is really cool. Back in my room in the US. That's right, I've come home from jolly old England, even though I really want to go back. And I did that about 2 weeks ago. And
It's taken a little bit to adjust.
It was, without question, the best 4 months of my life that I've ever had. Coming away from that was, and it probably is, to be quite honest, very difficult. And I was struggling to kind of pinpoint an example of how I felt, because it didn't feel like a lot of the same people in the group that I went with were feeling like that. England was really the first place, other than my childhood home, that really felt like home. I felt really like I was supposed to be there, that's where I belonged. That was the first time in my adult life that I was like, I could definitely see myself living here. I had the best experiences and I met the most wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. I would liken me coming back from England to the Pevensey children coming back from Narnia. And it was this world that I just loved and just knew that like this is where I wanted to be. And then it just sort of ended. It does very much feel like I'm waking up from a dream. And it's a dream that I never really wanted to wake up for, and it's a dream that I would really give anything to experience again. I want to be able to at least get back to the UK in some capacity, whether it's living there, whether it's visiting there, whether it's just keeping in touch with people that are there. 2016 was actually a pretty good first 4 months of the year for me. I went to study in York, England, and if the video I made a few months ago is any indication, I really, really, really want to go back.
I can now reveal 3 pretty big things. I've moved back to England and I've been living here since September of last year. I just finished my master's degree in screenwriting, which I'm super excited about. I'm getting married soon. Now that I've moved into my new flat in Leeds, I'm super excited about it. I moved to the UK on September 5th, 2018, which means that as of tomorrow, when I'm recording this, I will have lived in the UK for 4 whole years. Oh my goodness. I have changed a lot and adapted a lot in living here for 4 years. If I'm around a bunch of Brits, my accent tends to slip. I don't know why it hasn't done anything yet in this video, probably because I'm at home. A lot of people ask, you know, whether I would move back to the States or not, and the answer is right now, no. There's too many problems with the US right now for me to want to move back. I really enjoy it here. We're in a new house with the dedicated office, which is really nice. There's a lot over here for me that I really feel like I've settled and made a life for myself here. Onward to indefinite leave to remain, and onward after that to citizenship. I can't wait. You know, there's some stereotypes about your culture that you're like, actually no, we're not really all like this. This is 100% true. We Brits, and I include myself among this because I've lived here for 4 years now. We love to queue. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We love a bloody queue. So I have a scorching hot take for all of you. And that is that Megan is correct, actually. So for the longest time, I was wondering whether to refer to myself as an expat or an immigrant. And if you had talked to me in the first year I moved over here when I was a student and I didn't know if I was gonna stay here permanently, I would have called myself an expat. But I've been here 4 years now. I'm married to a Brit. I have a job. I intend to keep living here. I'm an immigrant. She more or less gave up the entirety of the life that she was living, and she gave it all up to move to another country to be with the love of her life because she knew that she wanted to be with him. Guess who else did that? Moving to the same country and living together was more or less the last step in figuring out, are we compatible to live together, be together, love together for the rest of our lives. I'm autistic. I was diagnosed last month officially. My name is Helen. I'm autistic. I'm an American currently living in the UK. I'm almost ready to apply for citizenship, which is really exciting. I'm here to tell you that we are almost at the end of the immigration journey. Nope, I'm not leaving. In fact, I just applied for citizenship. Lord knows, after every single time I've made a visa application, I've ended up basically broke because it costs so much money. And so last week
I submitted my citizenship application. After all of that, after I've gone through the Tier 4 student visa, I've done the 2 spouse visas, I have indefinite leave to remain, and I've paid for my citizenship application, I will have paid, by the end of all of this, £11,590 and 76 pence. Do you know how many vacations I could have gone on with that money? It's all gonna be worth it in the end. I love my country. I love my spouse so much. The UK government decided to privatize this entire process, make it super expensive for anybody. I am extremely lucky that I came here when I did. And keep in mind that like while I'm trying to save for these visa fees, I am paying for my commute into work, I'm paying rent, I'm paying my bills, I'm paying for groceries, and on top of that, I just want to have some sort of fun while I'm like here. I live in this country, I might as well make the most of it. I'm not ungrateful for the life that I live over here. I don't want anyone to mistake that. It has been a long journey to get here. It's been a hard journey at times. I am extremely grateful for my spouse, for being there with me through every step of this journey. Hopefully, I will be able to have an update before the end of the year, a positive one, that I have citizenship. We're gonna cross our fingers for that.
Oh, I should ask, is he allowed to film at this point? You want to do whatever you want, it's your right. Go on then.
On behalf of His Majesty's Government and Leeds City Council, I'm delighted to welcome you to the Civic Hall for your citizenship ceremony. For you, this ceremony is a final step in the process of becoming a British citizen. I will also ask you to make a promise and to swear an oath to the Sovereign that you will be a faithful citizen. You will also make a formal and public pledge that you will be a loyal subject and observe the laws of this country.
I, Helen, swear by Almighty God that on becoming a British citizen, I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty, King Charles III, his heirs and successors, according to law. I will give my loyalty to the United Kingdom and respect its rights and freedoms. I will uphold its democratic values. I will observe its laws faithfully and fulfill my duties and obligations as a British citizen.
Congratulations, that's exactly what you did. Woo! And may I present you your certificate, Helen?
Thank you.
There you are, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We're going to do a bit of singing now.
Alright. First,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it is, don't worry, yeah. We're all done, so I think it's photo time now.
And just like that, we're here. I am officially a British citizen. I feel relieved. I feel a bit more secure. It almost doesn't feel real quite yet. This day has just been so far off, and I've lived so much life, as you can see. I am officially a British citizen. I am in the middle of doing all of the admin things that are required of me. I had to send my biometric residence permit back within 4 days or risk a £1,000 fine, because they're not done wringing money out of you just yet. Actually, let me rewind, because I did run into a little bit of a hiccup after I published my citizenship process video. I submitted my application, did my biometrics, and then about the first week of December, I got an email from the Home Office saying that my travel records didn't line up. For those of you who don't know, in order to apply for citizenship, you can't have been out of the UK for more than 90 days in the previous 12 months. And that was true for me. They claimed that I was out of the country for 100 days. And that turned out to be because on my way back from my brother's wedding, I went through immigration in Dublin and did not see an immigration official in Leeds because Ireland and the UK are part of the common travel area, which is nice and convenient on the day, but as it turns out is a bit less convenient when you are applying for immigration things. As such, they gave me a 2-week window in order to provide updated travel documents, which I did for the previous 3 years. This includes my travel confirmations as well as confirmations that I was in the UK for the previous 3 years. This included my annual leave records from my current and my previous job, as well as my current letters from my current and previous managers confirming that I was in the UK for that time. They would be very aware if I was gone for 3 months at a time. They were all super cooperative. I got the evidence submitted within a week, and then I didn't hear anything. I was starting to get a little bit frustrated because I was like, oh, well, they got to my application. They'll get to it. So I'm going to get a decision soon. But of course, that was right before the holiday period where everybody, including me, went on leave. So I wasn't really sort of expecting anything in January. And then on the morning of Monday, the 12th of January, whilst I was on my way into Leeds to go pick up my flute from the repair shop, I got the email that my application had been approved. I called my spouse immediately. And as it turns out, that was the day before I left for the European Figure Skating Championships in Sheffield. So I got to be at Euros, not as an official British citizen yet, a pending citizen, waving the Union Jack for the home skaters, and that made me very happy. I did end up paying for a private ceremony. It was just me, it was just my spouse, and it was also one of my friends who also served as one of my references for my applications, and I'm super grateful. We just made a day of it. As you can see from the video, it was, pretty short and sweet. The ceremony itself was about 5 minutes. There wasn't much I really had to cut. And after that, we had a lovely brunch, and then we spent the afternoon in New York, which is the first place that I ever lived in the UK 10 years ago now. We went to the Minster. We had a little photo opportunity in the museum gardens, because not only was that where I lived for 4 months and where, as I'm sure you'll have seen by now, I realized that this is the place that I was meant to be. It was also where I met my spouse. And we had a nice day reminiscing and just thinking about how young and naive we both were. And then, came home. I have applied for my passport, which is why I don't have my actual certificate on me. And I also had to send my current and previous American passports off. So that is currently in the process of, being processed. I've, been sending my details to my employer and other relevant, people who need to know that they don't need to consult the Home Office about me anymore. Once I do get my British passport, I will be registering to vote in the May elections. This is the first time I'm going to be able to vote over here. Voting is a right. You should not take it for granted, especially right now in my home country. Truly, the only thing that I would change about my day is to have been able to have more of my friends and family with me, honestly. I made all the phone calls I needed to. It was a ceremony in the morning, which meant it was about 5 o'clock Eastern for my parents. But they were awake, and we called them later, and we, sent them the photos and videos and such. That's it, really. I'm a citizen now. I am officially British American. I am a Michigander living in Leeds, who no longer has to pay the Home Office any more fees. Before I finish, there's a lot of people that I need to thank and have thanked for their support on this journey. People I've worked for, my friends, my family, anyone who's ever done any part of an application with me, my American friends that are over here, because we're all going through the same thing. All the friends that I first came over here with, especially my professor and his family who led that semester and were confidants with me throughout that time. But the most important person that I have to thank is my spouse. You gotta love someone a lot if you're gonna go through this process with them willingly, and it just proves that those inclinations that I had back in 2016 were spot on, and I could not be more grateful. Here's to the next lifetime of officially being British. Remember that you can check out my monthly blog posts. I just posted a video about my blood clot story as well. Follow me on my public socials. And as I've often told myself over the years, especially looking over all of the footage that I put in this video, I'm gonna keep saying it for all of you and for past me who didn't know what the future was gonna hold for her. Remember to keep living awesome lives, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.